All right. By now, you probably already heard the news, but yes, Casper just recently had a significant security breach that they discovered, and the network is now basically on pause. We're going to talk about this, we're going to address it. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's just be honest here. Is this the final nail in the coffin for Casper? Is Casper dead? Is Casper finished? All of those questions will be answered by the end of this video. The number one thing to take from this market is nobody knows what's going to happen. No one knows if a project is going to be successful or not. We could only take this market day by day and with what the market is giving us. If we are just looking at Casper and the last year for Casper alone, it has not been easy. IPW going bankrupt, retail sentiment around Casper at all-time lows, the chart hitting an all-time low. Like, it's not been, a great year for Casper. It's not been a great time for Casper forever now. So we are looking at this and we're like, what's going on? Is Casper ever going to bounce back? What's happening here? And in this video I want to address a few things. So number one, the situation, it's not easy to see. It's not a great thing to see. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It sucks. Let's just be real. A lot of these networks that are touting, the greatest security and all this kind of stuff, a lot of them do get exploited. But I also want to remind you guys that, recently we had Hedera get exploited back in March of 2023. More recently, BitTensor or Tau also had an exploit happen. And even Ethereum also had an exploit. So if we look at this, is this the death of Casper? No. Does it help Casper at all? No. It, in fact, builds upon the sentiment that was already out there. Even if we go over to CMC, right? There's a few bullish posts here, but if we go to the latest and we actually look at what's going on here, there was a ton of negative sentiment here. I'm bearish. The coin is doomed. It will never come back online. It will never come back. It's done. It's dead. It's a scam. A lot of people were saying, that it's a scam, that it's dead, that, I'm so happy that I sold it. As we really look at Casper currently, I mean, this chart looks done, right? It looks dead. It doesn't look like it's going to do much. And in hindsight, if we go forward 90 days or, 180 days from now, if we look back, Casper might look completely different. I can't tell you guys if it's going to or not. We can make predictions. I'll give you guys my thought process first, right? Which this is my thought process. I said my thought process on Casper, being the largest dark horse in the space right now, has not changed. In time, many will cry for fighting the bottom. I watched ADA, The Graph, Matic, and others perform similarly. While everyone was bearish, we all know what happened next. And listen, we don't know if Casper's going to be the next ADA or, whatever type of project out there. But one thing that I will say is the Casper team continues to be relentless. They continue to push updates. They continue to, interact with the community. It's one thing to say, all right, well, the project sucks because the team's not doing anything. And in this case, it's the complete opposite. Price action is terrible. We don't know what's going on with retail focus. We know Casper has been extremely enterprise grade focused, which it really hasn't been beneficial for a lot of these chains out there that are enterprise focused. But the team has been working with some very large players and moving constantly. One thing that I will say is Actus is a big deal, and also Prove AI is also a big deal. These two things, in my opinion, really kind of keep me holding Casper because although, yes, price action is terrible, these two things are a very big deal. You got to remember that Casper is the only network in this space that actually has the Actus standard built within it, which is a very big deal. And then, of course, working with IBM with Prove AI is just another big deal to me. But outside of this, let's talk about a few projects. Tokenizer put out a great post regarding this. I'm not going to read all of this because, again, I don't want to waste your guys' time. But we have here By now, many of us have heard about the Casper hack. There isn't much info to go off of what exactly happened, but I've dug the largest transactions on Casper prior to the network stopping. Good news is that the network's back up and running, but I want to share my honest thoughts on what I think this means for Casper and the way forward. Obviously, yes, it is bad. No other way around it. The network simply failed on the security aspects. But does this mean it's over for Casper as a blockchain company? Well, let's look back at a few other hacks. And of course, we have, Ethereum back in 2017. Ethereum got hacked. The infamous DAO hack, for an example. And we have here, the DAO was a complex smart contract. Hacker finds vulnerability in the smart contract. Hackers request funds from contract via exploit. They stole 3.6 million ETH, 70 million at the time. Eventually, the Ethereum community had to decide on whether to continue on after the hack, to commit to the purpose of immutability, or to roll back to prior to the hack. In the return, this divide the Ethereum community into two, and today we have Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. Now, outside of that, we already know how Ethereum has, panned out since then. It's been very successful. It's the number one chain for, enterprise adoption, DeFi adoption, things like that. Solana. I don't think I need to say too much about this one. It tends to shut down a lot. It's not as bad as hackers stealing money, but it's definitely not a good sign, especially around, the network itself being reliable. But it is still one of the most utilized layer ones, and it's also one of the largest projects. Hedera. Like I said, the exploit with Hedera, that's probably, just like Tokenizer is saying here, the most relatable one that we have, because that's exactly what is it's kind of a very similar situation here, not only from the enterprise focus side of things, but also, the way that the network was actually targeted. So as we really kind of look at that, Hedera is very successful even today after the fact. And we even have down here, like, once a solution was found and deployed, Hedera council members were to sign transactions to deploy the updated code and remove the vulnerability. And this happened last year in March. It didn't slow down Hedera or anything like that. And we continued to see Hedera really kind of leading the path around enterprise and things like that. Now, with that, I am right on par with Tokenizer here. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm not trying to say that Casper is very bullish because of this. No, it sucks, and it's a problem. And I really do hope that this does get fixed. We have down here, what happened was a serious problem, and I would hope the team and responsible validators discuss the next steps forward in detail to ensure that this doesn't reoccur. But part of being early in the space does include potential exploits. These should be taken as serious learning opportunities, as they're still just small scale for now. Imagine if Actus actually deployed financial contracts, or if Prove AI was live in action and this happened. Now that could be a huge catastrophe. While the details on what exactly occurred in the hack are still vague, it's good things are now resolved. And yes, it's good that this is happening now, right? We didn't want this to happen during like a bull run or anything like that. So it's good that it happened now. It's good that they are going to fix this. Now, after the fact, what are we really kind of looking at when it comes to price wise, right? So overall, the chart, you guys probably know from my recent videos on Casper, I still believe that this thing is in the Wyckoff accumulation phase, specifically the spring phase. Okay. It doesn't look good going off of the chart right now. I'm hoping that this is the bottom. So far, we have a daily candle body close right around roughly, it's like less than 2 cents a little bit. And we are now on the next daily candle close. If this does close above this area, I would hope for this to be the floor that we kind of build off of. And from here, we can kind of range and then finally get an impulsive move off of these lows once the network is, back to normal, and once we get an updated view from the team. Now, is this thing going to act like ADA or anything like that? We don't know, right? I've always looked at Casper as the ADA of this cycle simply because of the similarities. Here we have the Casper Bitcoin chart. So Casper Bitcoin, this looks horrible. Let's just say what it is. This thing is garbage. This chart is terrible. But I want to highlight a few things. Number one is RSI. RSI is extremely oversold here. MACD as well looks ready for a major impulsive move to the upside. Let's just go back here to June of 2022 before this thing started to gain a ton of momentum. We are looking for another big move here with a ton of momentum on Casper. And the first area of interest is technically going off of those June 2022 lows. And if that is the case, if we are going to move towards that area, let's just hypothetically say that this is the low on Casper. This is like a 200% move away on the Bitcoin pair. Now, when it comes to the USDT chart, this could very well result in, a 200 to 400% move to the upside. We don't know what the move is going to look like, but I would be expecting the USDT chart to look very, very good if we can move to take out this liquidity here, which I do believe that we will. Now, outside of this, this is the ADA Bitcoin chart. So this doesn't look identical to the Casper Bitcoin pair, and more so, I'm not looking at the current view. I'm actually looking at this view back here. This whole area is what we want to focus on when it comes to ADA. Now, USD wise, yes, it did look very similar to Casper going off of the USD chart. If we go to the daily, by the way, and let me zoom out real quick, and let's go all the way back here to March of 2022, or March of 2020, and really kind of compare it to where we are at right now, and also even going back to 2022, because I want to go back to this major move here in 2019. So this is what the two charts look like. All right. Now, the reason why I brought up 2022 is because if we go back here, 2022 was supposed to be the bottom of, this cycle technically for the bear market. And then this is where most altcoins, most of the market kind of bottomed. And then we really kind of pushed into possibly November. November is also when a lot of altcoins like HBAR into December bottomed out. But Casper looked like it bottomed initially back in June of 2022, up until, of course, recently. But if we really kind of look at this, we have this nice high back here in 2023. Could that be the high from 2019 for ADA? Sure, it could. And then, of course, we have the major sell-off, this downtrend. We had some nice spikes here, nothing too crazy. And then we have the all-time low. ADA had that all-time low in March of 2020. And then what followed after was a major move to the upside. Now, we have yet to actually put this in, but I want to highlight one thing here, which is we have this bearish candle, which is an all-time low. It ranged for a couple days and then put in another bearish candle, but this was actually a higher low. I know that it doesn't seem too good right now, but we have this very bearish all-time low candle, okay? And then we possibly have a higher low, even though it doesn't look too crazy, because again, this higher low, let's just be honest here. Let's actually look at what percentage this is away. So this is roughly like 3% away from the all-time low bottom. But realistically speaking, if we look at the all-time low for ADA, this was about 21% away in terms of that next low, which is why I say like the 3% versus 20%, it's a big difference, but this could still be that spring-like move that we are looking at when it comes to the Wyckoff accumulation. Now, I also want to compare something, which is Algorand. So Algorand is one coin from this cycle that made an all-time low. Algorand was one of the largest projects back in 2020 into 2021. And if we look at the Algorand Bitcoin chart, I have this highlighted here. This is a very oversold area. Just take a look at the MACD as well. Again, I want to highlight these moving averages here. And you know what's crazy about this? If we look at Algorand during that time, even though the Bitcoin pair continued lower, Algorand had a lovely move off of the bottoms, or off of the bottom here, which was a 200 almost 82% move to the upside. Casper's Bitcoin pair right now is printing a very similar pattern where it's extremely oversold. and take a look at the MACD moving averages. We are waiting for this to have a significant move to the upside, just like the Algorand chart did have back in July of 2023. Even though the Bitcoin pair didn't go parabolic or anything like that, the USD chart did gain a ton of momentum, and this is because this did start to have a nice little impulse move to the upside. And remember that this move didn't really kind of start until October, which is when we had that nice spike on the Bitcoin pair. If we have that 200% move up to liquidity, which is what I'm expecting, this would be a 200% move. And if we actually look at Algorand, right, just to kind of give you guys a quick insight on what I mean by percentage-wise, Algorand on the Bitcoin pair went up 103%. The USD chart went up almost 300%. If the Bitcoin pair for Casper is going to move 200% to take out this liquidity level, I'm expecting the overall USDT chart to possibly have a 400% move. Because again, it's 200%. It's not guaranteed that it's going to take, a move, a 400% move to the upside. But if we do a 400% move to the upside, we would be talking about 9 cents, which I know to some people that might not seem like a lot, but this is a 4x move to the upside, which I would not be complaining at all right now, considering the overall price action on Casper. But that's how dead Casper has been. But the reason why I foresee, Casper having a significant bounce is because of the sentiment, how oversold the Bitcoin pair is. And also you got to remember where we are at right now, cyclical wise. Alt season is brewing, regardless of what anyone is saying, right? I've been following Bitcoin dominance for a while. I am expecting Bitcoin dominance to sell off in a very large way for altcoins to lead the way going forward. So as we really kind of look at this hack, yes, it's very bearish right now. It's not a good thing. I'm not happy about it, but I do believe that if the Casper USD chart can hold this low, all right, then I am expecting a very large spike to the upside once we start to see the Casper Bitcoin pair reverse, which should happen upon the announcement from the Casper team. I do think that this is the bottom for Casper officially. I always say bottoms don't feel like bottoms. So a lot of people will probably say, no way, this is the bottom. We go lower. That's what we want to see. When it seems like all hope is lost, typically that's when the charts reverse, just like ADA back in March of 2020, and just like Algorand recently back in October, September of 2023. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if there's more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on all socials down in the description below, as well as join the free Discord. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.